Hey there, my friends. It's time to take you on a journey and show you the heart of Africa. We are currently in the town of Changa, Tanzania. If it were not for our precious gem business, we wouldn't be caught here. But as you see, this place is quite well maintained. The locals here make a living from the factory and the trading port, and let me tell you, they're doing pretty well for themselves. Sure, there are some humble abodes, but there are also some real stunners like that palace cube building over there. However, we are not here to admire the architecture, my friends. We are here for those mountains in the distance. Up in those hills, they mine some gems. That would be sapphires, a special variety of tourmaline called umbelit, named after Umba River that flows through the region, and the famous Malaya garnet. Now, why are we hunting those Malaya garnets? Because this stuff is rarer than a unicorn riding a flying pig. It's a real gem connoisseur's delight, and we are just about to stop a direct line to the source. We have checked in the only hotel in town, and as you can see the view from the window and the apartments are nice, but the food has been a letdown. For some reason, in Africa, cafe food always takes forever to cook, and it isn't all that tasty. Don't get me wrong, I'm not picky, I get that this is Africa, baby, but how can it possibly take an hour to boil plain pasta? It's a mystery for me. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that there is a third way to make a living here, which is fishing. By evening, the bay will be brimming with boats. Alright, enough for the preamble, it's time to head out. Okay, folks, after a few hours of driving the trusty old car of ours, we have finally made it to the base of those majestic mountains we saw peeking through the haze from the hotel balcony. Now, there aren't as many people around these parts, and just up ahead where everything is lush and green. Because that is basically an impenetrable jungle, my friends. But there are a few little cleared patches of land here and there where they grow all sorts of spices, as I've been told. You know, the good stuff like cinnamon and all that jazz. Anyway, we are gonna take a quick break here to stretch our legs and, well, take care of any pressing matters in the bushes. And then it's back on the road because we've still got a long way to go. With this windy, bumpy road, we are lucky if we can make 20 kilometers per hour maximum. So it's gonna be a long ride. All right, we have finally made it to the prospector's camp. Now it's time to negotiate and head out for some treasure hunting. This is my driver, and let me tell you, I hit the jackpot with this guy. And it's not just because he's the only of two people who can speak English here, it's just because he doesn't stink. You know, there is this awful myth that different races have their own distinct smells and some races just smell stronger than others. Well, I've traveled a lot and I can tell you for a fact, the smell has nothing to do with race. It's all about personal hygiene. If I stop showering, no matter what genetic code or metabolism is, I will still stink like everyone else. The myth about Africans smelling stronger is probably because there are some who consider themselves the children of nature and think shower are for the weak. But I guess that's also likely tied to the historical water scarcity in some regions. Luckily, my driver might be thrifty with water, but he doesn't skimp on personal cleanliness. When another guy joined us in the car earlier, I almost got chemical burns in my lungs. Seriously, every time he raised his hand, it was just like the Grim Reaper was reaching out to steal my soul with his unholy stench. Anyway, let's get this negotiation started and see what kind of treasure we can uncover. I've got a good feeling about that. Well, we are here at the entrance to the cave of Ali Baba. As expected, the ground is a bit on the clayey side, but whoa, check out what that guy is doing. I mean, I have been down into all sorts of crazy places before, but I think I'm gonna take a minute to really think this one through. I'm not sure if I'm ready to pull off a stunt like that, not just yet. It's not super high or anything, but you could still take a nasty tumble, you know. And and it looks like there is even a deeper tunnel down there. Well, alright, time to break out the flashlights, comrades. So it turns out that this place is only full of sapphires, and we've got another 2 days of digging to go before we hit the stuff. Digging? Not really my thing, Let's move on, shall we? Now, to give you a bit of a context, this whole area is part of the Umba River Valley. Basically, this river has been bringing down a mix of different gemstones for centuries. So we've got sapphires, tourmalines, garnets, all jumbled up together. But here is the thing. I've never actually come across any high-quality sapphires from the region. My guess is that the good ones just aren't here. You know what I mean? Alrighty, so here we have these little piles of dirt that we are gonna check out. As you can imagine, no one's gonna waste water washing this stuff, so these piles are just gonna dry out in the sun, which we have got plenty, thankfully. Then we will just rub it all between our hands. The dried up clay just crumbles into dust, so if there is anything valuable, it will be easy to spot. This is how the mining operation works around here. The whole area here is private land. In a mining gig like that, there are always 3 key players involved: the landlord, the investor, and the work crew. And the profits, they get split evenly as it should be. Oh, check out this pit. It's way more user-friendly than the last one. You can actually climb down into this without risking a broken leg. And while we wait for the material we dug up to dry out, our drivers handing out some cigarettes and little cash for the guy to treat themselves to a beer or an ice cream, whatever floats their boat. My driver gives the money to the crew boss, that's right, he will make sure that it gets divided up fairly. Alright, my dudes. We have got another update from the miners. In this particular shaft, we have got some sapphires, but the material is gonna need to dry out until 4 p.m. So in the meantime, let's take a little stroll over to the Malaya garnet deposit. The guide says it's a 1-hour hike, but you know how it is around these parts. When they say an hour, that really can mean 5. Do you see? That is Moni, my trusty driver. And he is actually drinking some water, and it's not because he's suddenly concerned about his skin's moisture level or anything like that. You see, last year when we were out on a mining expedition, Moni decided he has some kind of a tough rugged adventurer who could brave the savannah for 4 hours without a single drop of water. Well, let me tell you, that little stunt of his didn't end well. The dude ended up completely dehydrated and had a freaking heart attack. We had to rush him to the hospital. Well, now Moni has been sentenced to a lifetime of water drinking and health-conscious behavior. And you know who is the judge, jury, and an executioner in this case? Yours truly, of course. I'm not taking any chances with my driver's well-being, you feel me? So as we head out to the next mining site, you can bet your bottom dollar that Moni has got his trusty water bottle glued to his hand. So we finally arrived. Here we have something like a miner's village, and of course the first thing they offer us is the local sapphire. Well, what can we say about them? Quite decent looking grey pebbles, definitely not jewelry grade material. This is the kind of stuff they send to the precious gem markets, where they dose it in a glass, paint it and sell it as natural sapphire. And if you take it to the lab, they will even confirm it is a sapphire, even that it's a natural one. They just won't tell you that it's worth about $3. And what do we have here? The guy says ruby. Well, I've seen those rubies before, cheap knockoffs. Didn't even have time to arrive and they're already trying to pull a fast one on you. Well, that's how it works, I guess. The thing is that looks like we are the first foreigners here, and the guys just couldn't resist the chance to try and pull one over on the Mzungo. That's local slang for a white person. But I'm very much used to it, so it's all fine. Okay, have a look here. That is a surprise ad for a Thai resort, complete with a Thai phone number. Talk about unexpected. It's almost like they just found this poster somewhere and slapped it on for a bit of flair. Because, let's be real, the locals have no idea what Pattaya is and where it is. Meanwhile, the same guy who tried to sell us a synthetic ruby is now trying to pry a luxurious tourmaline right out of his heart. Let's take a look, shall we? Incredible. It's a color of a bottle straight out of the dumpster. And I think I will pass on that one, my friend. And drum roll, please. We are at the mouth of the Umba River. Finally, we are here at the very spot where the precious Malaya garnets are mined. This is my very first time here, and let me tell you, it's quite the experience. To my left, you can see a 5-star apartment complex where I will be spending the next couple of months. This is about as eco-friendly as it gets. We're talking mud and sticks, no running water, no electricity, and no sewage system. But hey, we're going to be one with nature, right? Luckily, they warned us all ahead of time, so we can prepare it with a generator, some fuel, and all the essentials to make our stay a little less challenging. And over there, you can see the guys taking a dip in the river. That's their spa day, I believe. Now, I know that you're thinking, but the water is not dirty, actually. It's just full of different microorganisms and little critters that give it that lovely Nile-like hue. If they had any fields around here, they could probably use all that sludge as a fertilizer, but instead we've got piles of trash. Anyway, let's take a quick look around and then head straight to the mining site. I can't wait to see those precious garnets with my own eyes. This is the place where the owner of one of the deposits lives. You see, they even have these fancy lounge zones where you can chill out and escape the heat. Here is his Porsche parked outside and his luxurious castle. Hold up, I even see some power lines there too, which means they have actually got electricity. Well, would you look at that, luxury living at its finest. And our carriage has arrived. Hey there kids, let's give a big wave to the owner of this fine carriage and the mining, and then we are off. You know, we've been on the road for over an hour now and we still haven't reached our destination. But hey, at least I don't have to walk. I'm just sitting back here quietly chuffed that I don't have to use my own 2 feet. So up ahead, we have got a mountain that has a name that literally translates from Swahili as the drunkard. The owner of this mining has lived here for 30 years, but he has no idea why it is called like that. So I have a hunch. In the village we just left, there seemed to be a bit of a problem with the old alcohol abuse. At least 4 gentlemen approached me begging for money to buy booze. It's a real shame actually. Now, if someone asks me for money for food, I never say no. I'll take them straight to the restaurant or cafe and buy them a proper meal. But alcohol? Not a chance, my friends. Oh, that is super cool. Check out this treehouse they've got here. The branches form the roof. How neat is that? Of course, it's probably a total mess there inside. Yes, it is a total mess there inside. Oh, people, why do you have to be like that? Alright, so over there, we have got this alcoholic mountain and some scattered deposits all over this place. And check out this guy. He is the one who tried to sell me a synthetic ruby earlier. What a charmer, decided to tag along with us for some reason. And our friends have stopped to discuss something again. Well, they just love doing that, don't they? Hopefully it doesn't take half an hour for this time, because I'm starting to see some clouds rolling in, so we better hurry up. Okay, this is one of our many gem hunting spots. As you can see, the soil there is about 5 meters deep, and down below there is a thin vein about a meter thick, maybe 60-80 centimeters, where we might find some garnets. Here is one, but it's completely black, not good for us. Oh look, more garnets, also black. Gee, I wonder why no one is buying them from him. Yeah, we'll pass that too. And this over here is some low quality tourmaline. There is also some quartz lying around. and a tiny garnet with a hint of color, but it's way too small to be worth cutting. It's 3:30 now, so all the workers have gone home. The shift ends at 3 p.m. So we will have to come back here early morning tomorrow, but the chances of finding anything good are pretty slim. The owner says they only find 3 or 4 decent quality Malaya garnets per month, and even then only one might be really good. Lots of dull, dark red ones, but the nice Malaya garnet is hard to come by. So we still made our way down here just to take a closer look at everything. The rock layer is pretty solid, so they have to start by blasting the rock to get to the vein, and then the vein itself. Here it is. See how the color is different? This layer is a bit softer, so they're using wooden sticks to work on it. It's a standard safety measure because the metal could break a garnet. In the meanwhile, let's just take a look at the beauty around us. I love Africa for its natural wonders. It's just incredible, isn't it? My friends are probably still gossiping away, but we should head back to check on those sapphires before the dark. The rock they dug out should be dry by now. Oh, and the guy said we can't dig in here tomorrow because they need to blast the next rock block. Can't go too deep or the whole thing might collapse on us. So we'll have to find another spot. Alrighty, let's try to hustle on foot to one more spot before it gets dark. We can't reach it by car, so we gotta move fast if we want to make it back before nightfall. It gets dark on equator at 6 p.m. sharp, and it's almost 4 already. Staying out in the savannah night is definitely not a good idea, my friends, so let's get a move on. Okay, we've got another spot to check out here. See that over there? They're digging and penning right in the river. Not too much luck though, they only find about 1 or 2 stones per month again. But now you can see why is everyone so crazy about these garnets, right? The price just keeps going up and up. These babies are so rare. Let's go and take a look at what's happening a bit further down. Yeah, there are more few spots being worked. Looks like they've got about 4 meters of overburden to dig through before they hit the good stuff. I gotta say, this is a pretty sweet gig. It's nice and peaceful out here. I just love visiting such type of minings. So now we're heading back. We will most likely come back here tomorrow to dig ourselves. I don't have high hopes of finding anything as the stone is quite rare, but I'd like to participate in the process just for fun. But that's going to be tomorrow. Let's see what it brings to us. First, now we will have to drive back to the mining town, and of course there will be met by the sellers who typically try to sell synthetic stones or defective ones. But sometimes you might get lucky and they will offer you something worth your while. Let's wait and see what they have. Alright, first up we have an absolutely useless sapphire of a very poor quality. But wait, check this one out. That is an unrealistically huge Malaya garnet. They always say they're almost never larger than 2 carats, but look at this size. And there is even another one, even more peach colored, and also of an impressive size. It could be synthetic, of course, but as far as my field knowledge allows me to determine, these seem to be genuine Malaya garnets. I'm quite shocked, to be honest. Next we have a green sapphire, a little bit better than anything I've seen, but still the quality and color are quite depressing. And it doesn't have any cracks, but I still don't see the point of cutting that. So while we were walking, I wanted to share a little fact with you. Remember those mud huts without electricity or water? Well, get this, the owner's son lives there with the workers almost all year round. Crazy, right? Apparently, the mining operation can't even happen unless he's there. Like, if it's not around for some reason, they will just shut it all down. That's just how harsh reality of this business is, you know? A lot of people ask us, why don't you just buy a couple of mines and sip pina coladas on a yacht? Well, my friends, it's not that simple. You can't just buy a mine and then kick back and relax. It's hard work, and someone from the family, either the owner or someone else, has to be there all the time to make sure that it's running smoothly. It's a wild situation, but that's just how it is in this industry. Now we've just returned to the spot where we started, remember? Looks like the people couldn't wait for us and they have already sifted through all the rocks. Well, let's at least take a look at what they have found today. Alright, so it seems the crew didn't find anything new today, but hey, check out the haul from previous days. See all these little sapphires? Well, they're actually pretty cute. And would you look at that, we even got a straight savarite stone from the river. These guys usually don't show up around here, but that's the fun of these alluvial deposits. You never know what kind of wandering gems you might stumble upon. And check this one out, a nice little zircon crystal. Not exactly quality of the jewelry stone, but a cool addition to the collection nonetheless. Well, I would call it a day. Stay tuned for more our treasure hunting adventures and have a good one, morning, day or evening.